we work to. Yours the oversight of each detail. And yours the glory when the scaffolding of the body is taken down at last and the results of our labors are seen. Unless it is you who are the real builder, we work in vain, O Lord. On you may we rely to provide us with all we need for our work. God bless, we pray, this mayor and this council and the city, and above all, the citizens that they represent. God bless them. And together may we find that we have indeed built a part of the eternal city in our day and in our time, as you have granted. In the holy name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I make this prayer. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. First item on our agenda tonight is to approve the agenda as presented. I would like direction from council on the agenda approval as presented.
Make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and 2 seconds to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and there is none. Next item is approval of minutes of A, City Council regular meeting of May the 13th, 2024, and B, our City Council work session meeting of May the 28th, 2024. What is the pleasure of council on approval of the minutes as presented?
Make a motion that we approve both sets at the same time. City Council regular meeting of May 13th and the City Council work session of May 28th.
Second.
And I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented of A, City Council regular meeting May 13th, 2024, and B, our City Council work session meeting of May 28th, 2024. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and it is unanimous. Next item is the mayor's comments. Construction on the new gym has been delayed due to bad dirt that was found. The reason it is bad is because it will not compact to give a solid foundation to build on. We're in the process of installing a French drain so the water will run to the retention pond, and this will clear up the problem. And I did notice today they were doing some little work out there, but they have started that work on it. Little League and Dixie Youth are in the process of wrapping up their seasons, and American Legion Baseball is in full swing at this time. The parking lot at the corner of Main Street in Mulberry has been paved and striped. It is a nice addition to downtown, and the city incurred no cost whatsoever on this project, as the property belongs to Mr. Patrick O'Leary. The pad for the new splash pad has been poured, and we are now waiting on the concrete to set up within the next couple of weeks. Once that occurs, we will anchor the stations down, and we will be ready to open the splash pad. A temporary fence was installed to separate the splash pad from the pool, as the pool did have its grand opening this past Saturday. One of our boom trucks blew an engine, and it will have to be replaced immediately. This has caused a delay on getting some of the storm debris picked up. The old drain pipe that collapsed at the end of East Academy has been removed, and a new pipe has been installed by our city employees. The cost of this project was approximately $10,000. Contractors had estimated this project to cost between $40,000 and $50,000 to repair. So I want to send a great thanks go out to our public works crew on saving our city the cost of this project. In closing, I want to remind all our citizens of our Independence celebration on Friday, July the 3rd at the Rudisville Football Stadium. Cherryville will host numerous food vendors, games, a beer garden, the Swinging Medallions band, and fireworks will follow. Please make plans to attend this event, as it is one of the largest events to bring crowds from all over to our city. And this concludes the mayor's comments. We'll go to our next item is special recognition of city employees' years of service. And at this time, I'd like to ask one of our city staff, Lisa Millwood, if she here, yes, if she would come forward, please. Do you have anyone else with you?
No, it's just me.
Okay. This is the lady that brings me a stack of checks every week. And she makes sure that they're all signed, that I don't miss any. And so this certificate is awarded to Lisa Millwood in recognition of 10 years of service to the City of Cherryville. And it is signed by the City Manager, Brian Dalton, and Mayor H.L. Bean. Congratulations, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is citizens to be heard. Any citizen that would like to speak at this time may do so by coming to the podium stating your name and address. And remember, comments will be strictly held to 3 minutes. Now, this citizens to be heard is not to do with the budget. That is in public hearing. But this is anything else that a citizen would like to speak to the council about at this time. So do I have any citizen that would like to be heard at this time? Maybe that's good. Okay, we'll move on then. Item 9 is consideration of the public hearing in reference to adoption of the proposed fiscal year 24-25 annual budget. Our city manager, Brian Dalton, is here to lead us through this. So at this time, I would entertain a motion from council to enter into public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to enter public hearing at this time. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? There is none. Okay, we are considered in public hearing now, and I hope everyone has their budget. But I think our city manager can give us a synopsis. So you have the floor now.
Mayor, council, yes, you know, several months ago we gave you a copy of the proposed budget that was prepared by myself and department heads throughout the city. We had our meeting, we went over all those items, and this year the recommendation is that the tax rate remain the same at 48 cents per 100. The electric rate and the water and sewer rates remain the same. There not be any increase in those fees. This year's general fund, the budget is $7,207,625. The electric fund is $7,201,800. The water and sewer fund is $3,440,900. So the total recommended budget for this coming year is $17,850,325. That is an increase over the current budget that we are in. The current budget that we're in now is $16,491,725, which the proposed budget is $1,358,600, or 8% increase. Now, some of the reasons for that increase. Obviously, we are looking at a 5% COLA, cost of living adjustment for all city employees. 5% is helping us get to where we're at least in the mid-range. You know, we've went over that for several months, comparing ourselves to other municipalities throughout Gaston County, and we still have some room that we need to grow to get our employees comparable to other municipalities. The other thing is this year we have added a full-time recreation director. We do have an additional position in the electric department to add another lineman. So that is a lot of the reason for some of the increases. And as you know, we have to have a balanced budget. So as we have grown and as our revenues have increased, we have to show that we spend out the same amount of money to meet the requirements from the LGC. So that's basically the highlights of the budget. And any questions that I can help answer, I'll be glad to.
Okay. Do I have any questions from council for city manager?
I think he's done a good job already explaining and answering questions.
And I would like to point out too, as Councilwoman Hovis and I were talking today, we have run the numbers. We have called municipalities around us. We've called Duke Power. We've looked at REA. We've done every analysis we can, and right now the City of Cherryville does have the lowest electric rate around, and I think that's something we should all be proud of.
Thank you, Brian. I hope our good media folks here will put that out. I hope that will be the headlines. That will be the headlines.
Okay. Any other questions from council for city manager concerning our budget?
Yeah, I want to commend you and Dixie and the department heads on this budget. I think it sets us up well for the next 5 years with the growth that we got coming. I think this is where the groundwork's been laid. So thank you for preparing and getting us ready so that when this other stuff does happen, it doesn't surprise us. We're ready for it. We've prepared, starting today.
Yeah. Kudos to Dixie from me too, and getting it to us so early gave us time to really fine tune and go through it. We've had occasion after occasion where city manager is posted in his weekly reports. Please, if you have any questions, bring them to me. Bring them to me, and maybe I can settle them before we bring the budget to our citizens. And I think that has really helped. I do like that idea. I think we've gotten it faster than we've ever had it before, and it's really helped me because I know I looked at this thing 5-6 weeks ago, and I started highlighting in yellow things that I was concerned about. And of course, I went to city manager, and he explained exactly what was going on. But,
well, I want to thank Brian and Dixie also. But I feel like over the next 5 years, as we see these proposed developments we have on the books, as we see those come to fruition, and if these housing units sell like we hope they will, it may be a need for additional employees, but we'll see that as we go. Because 1,000 units, if they sell like we hope so, we may have to add more personnel.
And I want to point out that council, you did a great job in the past. Like last year, if you remember, we added the 2 additional police officers. This year, we added the full-time recreation director and another lineman. The fire department has submitted a grant, the SAFER grant, where if approved, it would pay for 3 full-time firemen for 3 years. Chief Officer, 4 years. So it would completely pay their salary, benefits, everything for 4 years. So we're trying to stay ahead of this so that when the growth does start really coming and it starts developing, that we're prepared. We're not, sitting back and then trying to find people to hire and get going.
Is that grant for the volunteers? Or
No, it's full-time.
full-time?
And what we would do is right now we have 2 firemen that are assigned to a shift full-time.
Right.
So what we would do is we'd add a third to each shift. There's 3
that's good.
shifts, so we'd add 3 full-time firemen.
Okay.
And I want to thank Brian and the staff and all too. And I think one of the things that's really helped is Brian has set up here. He's had to look at it from our side and everything too. And we know how you are with figures and how you look at them. And we really do appreciate it. And I think that's one of the things that's going to get us. And I'm on a lot of committees, and we're right now looking at 5-year plans, and even with the state on some things that I'm doing. And to have a person to come to me at the ball game the other night to tell me how thrilled they are that we have a recreation director that they can talk to, that understands now the needs for the kids is a big plus for our city.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
thank you for being proactive in that area.
And the
Brian,
gym.
I can really appreciate Brian because I used to sit where he's
That's right. Exactly.
so I really do appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
And I think the gym and the splash pad is just 2 more amenities that we can add. It's really,
Really
going to
gonna be
help
nice.
the
Yes,
younger
it
people
is.
especially.
For the
And that's what counts, is what the mothers and the fathers see that their kids get by living in Cherryville, and not just the schools.
And I think everybody sitting here understands that we get a lot of people talking about the roads, and we understand that.
We do.
And that's something we're going to work on. We're going to continue to work on. And as we get some of these other issues fixed, like Academy Street that just caved, Johnson Drive that we had to fix that pipe. We have one on Hampton Drive we have to fix. We have one down at Pink and 6th we have to fix. Once a lot of those type issues get resolved, I really feel like we're going to accelerate on getting some roads paved once we get that taken care of.
Okay, sounds good. Looking forward. Okay, if nothing else from council, do I have any citizen that would like to speak in public hearing at this time? Again, I think that's a good sign. So if not, then I would entertain a motion from council to exit public hearing at this time.
I make a motion to exit public hearing.
Have a motion and a second to exit public hearing at this time. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and there is none. So we are out of public hearing at this time. We're open now for discussion on the budget that has been presented. Let me hear from council what they think. And I know you voiced your opinion to our staff, but what do you see overall as the budget?
Well, I think we have a good budget that's been prepared, and it's one that I think we need to accept it as been presented. It's been worked on, reworked.
I make a motion that we accept the budget as presented for the year 2024-25.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the budget for fiscal year 2024 through 2025 as presented tonight. Any other discussion before we vote? If not, all in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and there is none. It is unanimous. Okay, next item is item 10, consideration of proposed city fees. And you need to go on your
47.
page 47
Page
through
47.
53.
Yes, Mayor, Council, this is if you remember, we presented this to you a couple months ago to look at, and this is just some, for example, underground electrical service. Let's say somebody wants to have their electrical service changed from where it attaches to the house to have it put underground. Currently, we're paying more for the wire and the material than we're actually charging. So that's issues like that is what brought this up and why we're looking at making some changes. We're not trying to necessarily make money, but we don't want to lose money on some of these services. So if you look at page 47, most of the area there in red is where we're recommending a change. So meter damage fee, that's, if somebody goes out and tampers with their meter or messes with their meter, or they tear it up, which does happen occasionally, it's a $250 charge. The underground, it goes from $250 for the first 100 feet to $350 for the first 100 feet. The area light installation, right here we're recommending $4 per foot after the first 100 feet. Currently we're at $3. So it's just situations like that where we're trying not to lose money on material costs, because the price of the material has gone up drastically over the last several years, and we're trying to just make it to where we at least come even on that. Probably the one that we've talked about the most that I think everybody thought about is the garbage container fee. And what we were looking at there, anybody that already has a container, they don't have to worry about it. They're done. But, and currently we have a replacement cost, and I believe Councilmember Freeman had an issue where he had to buy one actually one year. If your garbage, unless we tear it up and we're trying to empty it, if you want a new one or something happens to yours, there's a replacement fee currently. What we're proposing is that take the new development, those 500 houses. As those houses get built and people are ready for service and we take a container out to them, we're proposing that they pay a one-time fee of $75 to get the container. Right now we're currently buying, say we buy 300 containers. It's about $18,000 to $19,000 for us to buy 300 containers. So that's why we're proposing this, is where and there again, the $75 is basically what our cost is when we buy those containers. So we're trying to just make it to where we break even on the containers. And we did check, and I believe it was Shelby was the one that does this exact policy, as they charge you the first time when you buy your container. Now you own that container. So if you live at 104, Elm Street, and you sell that house and move to, 104 Vista Drive, you can take the container with you. It's yours. You own it.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have to buy it again. The other ones is, some of the water and sewer tap fees. If you look on page 48 there, we're recommending a 3/4 water meter go to $350, a 1-inch water meter go to $500. The boring, just down a little bit on that page, the boring or cutting involved, we need to change that to a $400 fee, just so we, the price of asphalt has obviously gone up, and that covers our costs, where when we make a cut, we can get that covered. And that's probably the biggest changes we have discussed.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Yes.
Yes.
Brian, right below that, where it talks about the flat rate sewer fee,
You on page 48?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
yes, inside rate $36.50. Is that per month?
That is, that's for people that's all they have. That's the only service they have, because obviously we don't meter a sewer.
Sure.
So if somebody only has sewer, if they live inside the city limits, they pay the $36.50. If they live outside the city limits and are on our sewer system, they pay the $73.
Okay, so they're not a water customer.
Correct.
They're just a sewer customer.
Yeah, that's for people that are only sewer customers. we probably only have a handful of
I'm
those.
sure.
We don't have very many.
Yeah, I'm sure there's very few of those, but
Have we not had a charge for burn permits before? Is this new? 'Cause I noticed.
$5.
Uh-huh.
Have you been charging? Yes. Okay, so
So
that's
that's
not
not-
changed.
That's always been there?
Yes. So that's the same.
I don't see any other highlights.
Not a whole lot.
Well,
Not a whole lot.
fees for the Memorial Park. No?
Yeah, now cemetery fees are already set. If you,
Yeah,
if you
they're
remember,
already
Paige gives those to you.
Yeah, I think that takes care of it, basically.
I mean, the biggest difference is the containers for garbage pickup.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the city fees as presented.
second,
Okay, I have a motion and a second to put into effect the proposed city fees as presented. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. There is none. All
is this
right.
effective immediately or July 1?
July 1st.
Probably need to clarify that, don't we?
Yes.
In the,
Yeah,
July
we
1st.
probably do need to.
maybe clarify that in your motion.
So I will amend my motion to say, I make a motion to approve the city fees as presented, effective July 1st, 2024. Thanks, Yancy.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
A
have
motion and a second of the amended motion. All in favor of the amended motion as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and it does carry. Okay, we'll move on to item 11. This is consideration of public hearing in reference to amendments to our zoning ordinance, section 6.5, the cluster development. We have our planning and zoning director, Richard Elam, here. That's page,
We have to go into public.
yeah. I'll need a motion from council to enter public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to enter into public hearing at this time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we all opposed the same. There is none. We are in public hearing. Okay, Richard, you got the floor now, and that's page 54
Through 56.
through 56. That's going to be at the end. Okay. How'd I get all that up? Okay, Richard, go ahead. I'll
Yes, sir.
get you.
Give you a brief recap. This recommendation from my department went to the planning board on March the 18th this year and went through a lengthy discussion. They gave a recommendation not for what was presented to them by me, but to not to do away with all cluster developments. And Mr. Straup here, one of my members, he gave at the City Council on April 8th, he gave an explanation as to why, because we already have R9s, R12, R15, R40. And because we put the Part 11 back into the zoning ordinance, it's already there that they could make developments with 9,000 square foot, 12,000, 15, etc. There's no reason to have cluster developments anymore.
That would be under special zoning.
That would not be, that'd be under regular zoning. But the special use permit is up for all cluster developments. That's where you're reducing an R40, 40,000 square feet to 20,000. R15 to 10,000. R12 lots to 8,000 and The one that I wanted to do away with was the R9 to 6,000 square feet. So their recommendation to the city council was to do away with all cluster developments. So on April, I gave the explanation of what happened on April the 8th. And let's see, my notes here. City council on April 8th continued discussion of this to the work session on April 30th. And then on April 30th, they continued it again to tonight. So that's where we're at. The city council still has not given their decision. So I can go through the page 54 to 56 if you would like me to, again. But we just need the decision by the council tonight to leave it as it is, accept my proposal, accept the planning board's proposal, or just leave everything as it is.
Your recommendation was just to take off the R9, 6,000, right?
Right, it
And
was
the
still,
highlights in yellow.
Right. And,
right. I'll just go through.
and change that other.
Yes, ma'am.
And R12 increasing the setbacks to 6 foot.
Yes.
Now, this is under cluster development section,
Section 6.5.
right?
Right. I'll go through page 55. What you see in yellow is what I propose to add to the ordinance, because during this last plat approval, the builder and myself saw that they needed to have the lot, let's say number 3, the lot needs to be increased from 6 feet to 16 feet. We need that extra 10 feet, because otherwise you're going to have a house sitting 6 feet from our street. And that's that was number 4. Number 3 was the lot width between the side lot lines should be measured at the front of the street, not back in the middle of it somewhere. And the lot cul-de-sac, sometimes they're in a pie shape.
Can actually be reduced.
The width of the streets would be smaller sometimes, and I can improve that. As long as they've got the 6,000 square foot minimum and meet the side setbacks. And then the E, every lot approved for development shall be for the purpose of building a single or a two-family dwelling upon each approved parcel. Parcels shall not be confined from side or rear parcels to make that parcel larger. That way you don't have an owner coming in taking this one, and the one to the rear to make his lot bigger. You're cutting the city's revenue, cutting your taxes. You won't be getting income on water, sewer, etc., trash pickup, all the fees you would not be getting. And also the developer would be losing money too. He wouldn't be able to build a house. He's just selling a lot. Mm-hmm. That's the reason for E. And then you go to the last page, that D. It was written that 50%, but not more than 85% of the lots, when they're sold, that at 50%, the city is going to have to try to keep them mowed, et cetera, et cetera. But my recommendation is to line through the 50%, but not more than 80. Not more than 85, but leave 85% of the lots and units are sold. At that time, the homeowners association will be responsible for maintaining all developed lots and open spaces. They'll send a letter to whoever owns them to make sure they keep mowed, or they'll mow them and send them a bill. It takes work off the city staff to send them a letter. That's the reason for adding that. So I give it back to the council for your your approval or disapproval or changes.
Okay. Do I have any citizen that would like to speak concerning the cluster development, 6.5 cluster development at this time? Okay, if not, then I would need a motion from council to exit public hearing at this time.
Make a motion, we exit public hearing.
Second.
Have a motion second to exit public hearing at this time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. There is none. We are out of public hearing now, so we are now open for the council on discussion of what was presented by our planning and zoning director on his recommendations.
Richard, I probably should know the answer to this, but I'm not sure. In a regular subdivision, just a regular subdivision, do we have homeowners associations just in a regular?
None exists in the City of Cherryville.
None exists in just a regular subdivision?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
But in this it will,
Ma'am,
in the cluster developments it
they
will.
would have homeowners associations.
Okay,
That's correct. And they have very strong rules.
they do. Okay.
Okay. Any other comments by council?
I don't have any problem going along with Richard's recommendation.
You want to put that in the form of a motion?
I will.
Okay.
I make a motion that we accept our zoning director's recommendation.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second that we accept the recommendations as presented in public hearing by our planning and zoning director. Any other discussion? Okay, if not, all in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and there is none. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. We'll go to item 12 now, consideration of appointments to the Main Street Committee, and we have our downtown director, David Day, here, and that starts on page 57.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you. Before I go into that, I want to read a letter that we received. Mayor was nominated by our Main Street program to be a North Carolina Main Street champion this past year, which is a huge honor. We've had 6 or 7 Main Street champions, and Mayor H.L. Beam was our last one that we have. He went down in March and was awarded that at the Main Street program. And we received this letter from Senator Ted Alexander, and it says, "Dear Mayor Beam, I would like to congratulate you on being recognized as the Main Street champion. This is an incredible accomplishment for you and your community. Thank you for all that you do for the City of Cherryville. I'm wishing you and your family all the best. Sincerely, Senator Ted Alexander." So congratulations again, Mayor.
Well, thank you. Anybody that would like to see the awards, I have them hanging in my office on the wall. So
And I have
I'm
the
just
video.
not one for big accolades and stuff like that, but I'm glad you did bring it up because it's for the community as well, not just for me. It helps Cherryville, and I think that's what Senator Ted meant in his letter. It's for the city as well. So thank you, David. Thank you for reading that.
Okay, we'll move on into the nominations for our design team, economic development team, and promotions team. On the design team, up for re-election is Steve Panton and Sherry Bingham. They would like to serve another 2-year term. In the economic vitality team, we have a new person, Daryl Shepard. He will be doing a 2-year term. Sid Stroop is going to be filling Ms. Hovis's place as she moved on to City Council. She was on the economic development team, and then she moved to City Council, so we are filling her term. And to keep our rotation going, it would be a 1-year term, so we don't everybody go off at the same time. And then on promotions team, Angela Walker, she served as our chairperson now for 4 years, and she's going to go back on, and Pam McGinnis. So those are the new members that would complete our teams for the Main Street program.
Okay. Looks like you got a good team there.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to accept all appointments as presented by David Day.
I'll second.
Okay, that's short and sweet. Okay, I have a motion to accept all the appointments as presented by our Main Street Director, David Day. Have a second to the motion. All in favor of this motion, please say aye. All opposed, the same. We have none, so it is unanimous. Okay, thank you, David. Thank you for those comments. Okay, and now we'll move on to item 13, which is consideration of a request from ABC Board. This is in reference to the city seal on the new store sign. And that sign as proposed, is on page 58, where the seal, the City of Cherryville, North Carolina seal, is in the bottom right-hand corner. This sign, I would gather to say that 50% of our people don't even know where the sign is. It's on First Street, and the only way you can see it is if you're coming from Bojangles and you make that turn to shortcut into the town, and as soon as you turn, you're almost past it because you're right there, that big thing where they sell the ice cheap, and the actual sign is on Great Outdoors property. It's not on the ABC store property. And their request is that this sign is so old, I don't know how many years it's been out there, but it has deteriorated somewhat. And they said since they were going to redo the sign, they thought that they would put the seal on there of the city. Now, we had our city attorney doing some research to see if this was legal. She gave you a whole bunch of different examples of how it's done throughout the state. Sometimes they put spirits, sometimes they put liquor, sometimes they put the city's name. It varies about how they do it. But we did have our planning and zoning director. Is he still here? He researched it also with, and it may have been the same person, Quinlan.
Yes, sir.
Is that who you talked to?
Yes, sir. Quinn Woolyard, and he's the ABC director.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Richard talked to him, and he said he had that it wasn't against the law, and there was no problem as far as if we wanted to do it. But my question is, do we want to do it? And it's not up to me, it's up to this council. I know we discussed it at our last work session. I think the big thing, controversy that brought it up, like I said, most people don't even know it's there. But I think the big controversy was when it came out in the Cherryville Eagle Lincoln paper. It was blown up as about a fourth of a page showing the new sign. And I mean, that's okay. I'm not blaming anyone for that because that's the way the sign would look. And they were only showing exactly where the seal would be. And actually, blowing it up like that showed how small the City of Cherryville's seal was on there. Made it look like about a quarter or a 50-cent piece on there. But still, I know there's probably some controversy on it. So it's open for discussion now by council.
Mayor, throw out one other option. I noticed the last one in the series that Yancey sent us had a seal for the ABC board, their own seal.
Mm-hmm.
So they could come up with a Cherryville ABC board seal put on there instead.
That's a great question. That's a great comment.
Another option, yeah.
Okay.
That is an option. But
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that sort of takes the city out of the picture. I mean, in a way it does it, because it says Cherryville ABC
Yeah.
Board,
And we
not
do-
City of Cherryville.
We do appoint the members of the board.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Any other discussion by council?
No, I like what his recommendation, because the seal such as that, what's on the
City Hall, it's on our water tanks and different things, you know, we've got our steel, we own those, right?
It's on the taxi.
Yeah.
It's running too, and we don't own that.
I've had comments about that too.
Right. So
yeah,
those
it is
you put it on
taxes.
there.
But we won't go into that right now.
Yeah, but
I,
what's your general
well,
feeling on it?
I really feel like even though the citizens of our town, however many years ago, voted for the city of Cherryville to have an ABC store, I know, you know, there's a good segment of our population that disagrees with alcohol. So I just don't, I think it would be better for everybody that we not put the city seal, that we not put the city seal on this sign, or that we not approve it.
Okay.
I agree.
Any other discussion?
No.
Well, they're waiting on some decision, yea or nay. So maybe if I could get Gary to word it to the fact we would approve the sign if the Cherryville ABC seal was there replacing the City of Cherryville's.
Right.
Can you do it that way? Is
I'll try.
that okay to vote that way?
Do they even
City
have
attorney.
a seal though? Do they have a seal? Would they have to come up with something?
I don't think they have one.
Well, that guy could probably do it, the guys.
I can't remember whether we have one or not. I really don't.
Yeah, you got if you look at the email that Yancey sent, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina ABC Board, they got their seal on here, so they can basically copy something
ABC
similar.
Board, 1947, I think it was there.
That was a good year.
I'll make a motion that we not approve putting the City of Cherryville seal on it, but encourage them within this motion to come up with their own seal for the Cherryville ABC Board, which we do appoint to use on the sign. I know that's long drawn out, but did you get that, Paige?
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
So you're saying
I second
it
that.
wouldn't have to come back to council
Right.
to vote on it as long as it doesn't have a seal?
Yeah.
I'll second that, H.L.
Okay, we got that worded correctly.
I got it.
City
Yes.
attorney
Figure out what I
Yes,
said.
sir.
Taylor.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. I'm not going to repeat that motion. I'm just going to say Councilman Gary Freeman has made that motion that we remove the City of Cherryville's logo and replace it with one for the Cherryville ABC. Okay. Any other discussion by council? If not, then all in favor of this motion do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and there is none. It is unanimous. Okay. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll move on now to other business. The first other business that I have, I know I had scheduled a meeting in Albemarle, and then I had some health issues too that I'm dealing with. But I know Mayor Pro Tem Jill Pewitt was at the Juneteenth celebration. Could you give us just a little synopsis of how it went? How many
Yes,
people were there? And
I couldn't tell because I didn't stay for the entire thing. David probably can reiterate more. He was there working with them, but they did have food trucks. They had other vendors there. There was even some person running for an elected office had his place over there. They had a lot of music. They had speakers, and some of the singing was really nice. Nice singing, and they had it was well planned. And all the ladies were very complimentary of that, appreciated us coming and speaking. And David had worked with all of them. Donald Behringer, who's a Main Street program too, she was there involved. Am I missing anyone, David? Or
Our police department was there and had a booth.
Yes, the fire
Cherry
department
Police
was
Department
there.
was there.
They were seeing they had their a bouncing and slide thing over there beside the chamber office. So kids had something to do, and they were having a good time. Food was wonderful. They had great food there, and so it went really nice.
okay, good. David, is anything you'd like to add to that?
But the first year, it was our first year doing it, and it was smaller. But I kind of didn't count as I went out, and I was around 318, and then I kept having to go back to my office to do different stuff, so I'm sure I missed. But we had a lot of people that came, watched things, looked at the vendors. We had 8 vendors and 4 food trucks, and those vendors were actually selling stuff. So they were real pleased with the turnout. Had a great article in Cherryville Eagle that they did on the Juneteenth, and it really helped. And we actually had a lady from Kings Mountain who I was posting live on from Facebook, and she drove from Kings Mountain over to see what we were doing, and then invited our group to go over there. So it went well.
I know Councilman John Abernathy was there last year with me.
He was there this year too.
He was there too.
Oh, both years.
Yeah.
That's 2 stars for you.
I hope
We both did a lot
I hope
of
it
it.
gets bigger every year. I hope it gets bigger and bigger because
Okay.
I went last year really not knowing the true meaning of it, and it was really kind of an eye opener.
Yeah. I didn't know it. I had to get Paige to. I did the proclamation the first year, and it told about how it originated in Texas at the end of the Civil War, and they hadn't been informed that the Civil War was over in Texas. They were still fighting, and so that's where it all stemmed from, the Juneteenth celebration, and they made it a celebration. But anyway. The other item I have to bring up is we have our Electric Cities convention in August, and it is the 12th through the 14th, and it's going to be in Asheville this year. And I know several of staff, of course, we want our finance director there and city manager. And I know several others were invited by Electric Cities, including myself and Council Member Janice Hovis. So the thing about that is it's going to conflict with our August council meeting of the 12th. It'll be the 12th through the 14th. So I would like for council to consider maybe, instead of having it on that Monday, that maybe we do it on that Thursday, the 15th, which would be when when the representatives return, and they could give you an update of what's going on with Electric Cities. But I just want to throw that out there for recommendation from council.
You need to make a decision, like, so they can get it in the paper.
Yeah, I think so. I'm good with that.
Here you go. I am too.
What's the motion?
So I make a motion that we move our regularly scheduled city council meeting of August the 12th to August the 15th at 6 o'clock here in council chambers.
Okay, very, very well put.
Same time.
Okay.
Same time.
Yep, I said 6
Same time, 6 o'clock. Okay.
I'll second it.
Second it.
And we have a second to the motion. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. All opposed, there is none. So we'll need to get that posted in the paper, which we've got plenty of time for August. So. Okay, now I open up other business. Any council member have any business they'd
I have
like to
heard
bring?
from a few veterans and 3 at Vicky's one morning about being disappointed that we didn't have a Memorial Day parade this year. They felt like their fallen comrades should still be honored every year.
Okay.
I would say the Legion Hut did have a.
Yeah, we did have a memorial service over there that day.
Okay. I know we had the parade last year, and they were disappointed we didn't continue.
No, they had the golf carts. And well, some of us
There
walked.
was only very few
Yeah, I
people
think
here.
Kelly Hastings walked with us, didn't he?
He was there, but he didn't stay. He went on to another one, but he spoke to
No,
us.
I'm talking about
It was
last
If you
year.
do something, then it'll build each year and get more, more people involved. So we shouldn't stop just because we had a few people the first year.
Okay, that's food for thought. Okay, we can consider that. Okay. All right. Anything else from council? Here's your chance. Okay.
We can't leave here without saying this because it's said every month about the potholes. I have more complaints.
We actually have already said it.
About the potholes.
We have already talked about it.
But I agree with you.
Well, all the people that complain to me, I said, okay, I will say it again this month.
Okay. Yeah, I think city manager brought that up in the budget.
Well, I know NCDOT did get up here and fix those on 150, but
Somewhat.
they're still rough. Whatever it is they did, and
They
we still have
DOT
them.
don't know how to fix them either.
Well, I'm telling you this. I had a dental appointment in Lincoln this morning. And going into Lincolnton, I was checking out Chief. See here, still here. The chief had told me about this place on the left over there behind Dollar General that does haircuts and stuff. So I thought I'm just going to ride by there because I'm way too early for my appointment. So I rode over there, and I thought my car was going to get beat to death before I could get back out on the road for the potholes in there.
They're
And-
everywhere. I know they are.
And
They're
then
everywhere.
I turn at the stoplight there and go down that road, and there it's bumpity bump where they've replaced all the sewer lines. Then when you turn there at the stoplight, it's smooth as silk till you get the four-way stop. And there at the high school, there's potholes everywhere
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So, I mean, we're not unique in having those. It's in a lot of the other towns, too. And I know we just finished up some bad storms and a lot of rain and stuff. So, this is time of year that they're probably at their worst.
But I do tell these people that complain to me that we are going to be working on it, and we have a list. Is that correct?
I mean, if you look
We
at
do.
how many we've repaired over the last year, it's probably more than it was repaired the last 5 years.
Well, probably so.
I mean,
But
we had a list of over 100 and got them down to about 10 or 15. But of course, another pothole takes its place somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it
on
seems
Cherry Street, you know, Chris, we put gravel in that one on Cherry Street, but of course the gravel's already out. So that's just kind of a waste of time sometimes. But anyway,
I was told tonight that my street had a new water line, and I do not believe it.
I went down that street because
I
I had a
don't believe it.
complaint that from somebody that said Spring Street is terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, but I do not remember when they did a water line all the way down.
They
I
did.
know they patched it, patched. Kevin Abernathy could tell us, but I'm gonna have Chris King check with him tomorrow. But I'm saying we did not put a water line
Yeah,
down.
we did. Yes, we did.
You remember
I must have-
that with.
I
It's
must
been
have been
several.
in.
It's been several
It's been
years.
several years,
They
but-
did.
No.
I do have one question, Brian. Someone asked me about North Mountain, where they've been working at different sections on the side of the road. Are they doing something down there? Near-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Down at the mill.
down at the mill, down at the Old Door Mill. Are-
The gas company was down there last week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I told them that they may be doing some preparation for the renovation of the old mill.
Well, they are doing that as well, but
Yeah, it's a group of investors.
it is,
It's not
Yes,
one
but
investor.
that was the gas company that was down there.
right, yes.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Okay. All right. Anything else from council? If not, we'll go to staff. We got anything from staff?
Nothing from
Needs to
staff.
come tonight.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to adjourn and a second. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, there is none. We are adjourned.